Good afternoon and welcome to the Audi Sports live studio here for Audi on Track 2020. We're at the Nürburgring for the 50th anniversary running of the Nürburgring 24 hours. Great to have your company wherever you are. There's slightly better news from the weather. If I just glance outside where the Formula 4s are just gritting up at the moment, the rain stopped just after lunch. It was very, very cold and very rainy, but you know, it's not headline news really, is it, in the Eifel Mountains in September? Hardly groundbreaking. It's just something we're going to have to live with across the weekend. What we're doing here on Audi on Track is trying to add a little bit for you. We know you can't be at the track this year, so we're trying to give you a little more than you would normally see. Take you behind the velvet rope. Alan McNish is going to be down in the pits this weekend. Frank Beeler will be joining me here in the Audi Sport Studio. We've already had some great guests with the drivers coming through earlier on. And if you haven't seen any of that, check the portal because all of our live shows are archived and there's some fabulous interactivity in there. Check the 360 in the garage. That is brilliant. Loads of really good stats and bits and pieces of info in there that even Alan, Frank and I have been learning from. I'm delighted to say for this particular segment, we're going to be joined by some of the team principals that are campaigning Audi R8 LMSs this weekend. But before we get to them, another old friend. I've been doing really well with old friends I haven't seen for a wee while. It's been a really good catch-up for everybody. We're socially distanced here in the studio. And welcome then to the head of Audi Sport Customer Racing, Chris Reinke. Chris, welcome.
Well, thanks a lot, John, and I can only share the pleasure that we are out for endurance venture once more.
It's great.
We have done so many times together Le Mans. Now we come here to the Nürburgring and can't wait for the action to start on the track.
What's it like to get back to racing, and what were you guys doing in what my wife Eve called the big pause, which we were all in a bit of a safety car, double yellow, weren't we? Nothing was happening. What were you guys at Audi Sport Customer Racing doing in that time?
Well, you got to see we are a worldwide operation. Obviously, the Corona phase it was going from continent to continent. Obviously, we had the early shutdowns over in Asia. Then it came towards Europe. Now it is still for us the most intense in the US. We have closed borderlines in China. So we have a lot of challenges which are unusual for us on the logistics side, how we support our customers. So that kept us pretty much busy. As we obviously prepared the big comeback season here in Europe. The season here in Europe is now very pressed together. I mean, usually we have the season 9 months. Now we try to do the similar amount of races in 5 months. When we say our usual annual, we run, 750 races per year. So they're now probably down to 650, but therefore they're half as a time.
Yes.
Obviously, it's a preparation of staff, where the parts trailers going to go. All these schedules, as for all of us, get adjusted on a daily basis. So all that preparation, costs a lot of effort, and we try to keep the flag flying. At the moment, when the racetrack opened and racing was back possible, we're up to speed.
And have you been able to cover it the way you would want to? Because quite clear, I mean, for example, right now, I was going to say there's qualifying going on at Zandvoort, but there's a red flag at Zandvoort at the moment. Now, all right, there's always more than one event sometimes, but as you say, at the moment, the schedules have been so pressed together that it's extraordinary. So have you had to make additional arrangements for extra parts trucks, extra people?
Well, absolutely, that we have to find compromises to accommodate to the situation that we find. We didn't choose this, but we have to live up to it because we want to live up to the promise we gave our customers. And when you see this weekend, you just mentioned, obviously, we are with the World Challenge active in Zandvoort as we talk. Yes, we have an air bridge. We fly drivers back and forth. We would have never considered that years ago, because our main highlight of the year is the Nürburgring. We focus everything on this one. But now, if customers go racing on the same weekend, we have to find a compromise to suit it all. And to build up these compromises, that is intense. That costs a lot of labor to us. But at the end, it's to live up to an Audi standard that we promise our customers.
You got to talk about your customers, because they're businesses as well, and they've faced difficulties. But my goodness me, as soon as racing came back, they've come back, and they've come back at the very high level that they were beforehand. It's been brilliant.
Absolutely, and when we always talk Audi Sport customer, racing customer first, then the racing, we are one family. We have to go through this all together, and I think we have really helped one another out. We find compromise together, and when maybe our support engineers are somewhere else, we do pre-briefings and so on. Maybe we give cards package up front because the trailer cannot be there in time. We always find solutions. We have to go through these intense times all together, and I can say, I want to knock on wood, that really all our customers are doing very well for the moment, and we are very, very happy to have those as partners.
Busy weekend for you personally, as well as for Audi Sport, because we've got the World Touring cars here as well. And of course, you've got cars in that. You've got GT4s here, you've got TCRs here, and of course, you've got the mighty R8s here as well. How do you split your time? Have you got a little scooter outside that you're just whizzing around on?
I do it by my feet because I love eating and I love the nice caterings that they supply here. So I try to do as many miles by foot, not to make up too much weight over this weekend. Yeah, and also there, the challenges come up. Obviously, we take care of our staff. And just to give you a little example, we have been all Corona tested to come here to the event. But then I only realized when being down here, the WTCR is a FIA paddock, so you have to have a test which is no older than 48 hours. So then, you have obviously support here to get me retested to be able to operate down there. And obviously with the whole thing kicking off, I spent most of the time yesterday down the WTCR paddock with our partner Come To You down there. And looking forward for the races there. At the same time, we build up our structure here to be ready for the 24, but so far no big surprises. I think on the GT3s we didn't have a single scratch up to now on the cars, either on the technical side nor on the bodywork. So let's hope that we continue exactly like that. I think we have shown a good performance also on the WTCR side. So once again, knocking on wood, let's see that we continue through this weekend exactly like that.
Come back and join us again across the weekend. Always enjoyed talking to you, Chris.
Well, always, thanks a lot for having me. And then I hand over Ernst. Off we go.
And as you can see, coming in to replace Chris, hello, Ernst Moser from Phoenix. How are you, sir?
At the moment, fine, thank you.
Good, congratulations. If you'd just like to come towards me a little bit, that's it. That's fine. We've still got to be a metre and a half, That's why we haven't got masks on. Yeah. What is it about this race in particular, which celebrates 50th anniversary this year? Always used to be a particularly German race, but in the last 15, 20 years, it's become a global phenomenon. What is it about this race that keeps you and Phoenix Racing coming back?
First of all, it's always our home race. You know that our workshop is 1 kilometer from here, and all these teams here from the area working from the checkered flag from last year to the next race start this year. And we focus the most of the VLN races just for this 24-hour race, that we are really well prepared for that.
The saying in motorsport is that you're only as good as your last result. Your last result here was a win. Does that put any more pressure on you, or does it take pressure off?
Yeah, it's not more pressure. It's more motivation for that. I think all people from my team likes to do it a double in a row, and it's not so easy. We tried this many times and never we get this. But still, we have five wins here on this race. So let's try this year. Maybe we can do the double.
5 wins here in total, 3 of those for Audi. I'm not expecting you to give any Phoenix secrets away, but what do you think makes a winning team here? Can you actually prepare for the Nürburgring, or do you have to accept that the Nürburgring 24 will give you the challenges that you just have to face?
Yeah, first of all, you have to accept this racetrack. It's so special. You know this long track, you know this weather conditions, the traffic, the special on the night. If it's raining, it starts to rain. Things like that. You need the right time to wait before you start to make the action, to make the real race start, and many others start early in the evening or in the night to make the pressure on the driver, or the driver make himself the pressure. First of all, you have to survive the night. In the morning, when the car is in one piece and a good shape, you have a good performance. Then I think you have to start to try to win this race. This is one thing What I always talk to my driver and to the team, come down, we see in the night, make a good pace, yes, for sure, but in the morning we start a race.
And I'm sure there are plenty of team owners who would like to know exactly what you say to your drivers to make them take notice of you, because most drivers, as soon as they put the helmet on, they forget everything they've been told. We know that. Ernst, thank you very much for being with us. Fabulous record here. Good luck. Race well.
Thank you. See you.
Ernst Moser from Phoenix. And don't forget, you can be part of what we're doing here at Audi Sport, at the studio here, and Audi on Track. We are taking your questions. If there's anything you'd like us to find out over the weekend, then please use the facilities on the portal and get in touch with us, and we can send Alan McNish off on a little fact-finding mission for you. Wouldn't you like to be remotely in control of Alan McNish, one of the Audi legend drivers? Yes. Think about that, and we'll send them off on a little mission just for you, but only if you get in touch here at Audi on Track. Let's continue with our team principals here in the Audi Sport Studio. Please welcome from Land, Christian Land. Oh, sorry. Okay. Dennis Fellman. Excuse me, Dennis. I read my list the wrong way around. I've got them written the other way, but I've got number 2 next to you, Dennis. So very many apologies. First of all, great to see your cars here. I've seen your cars racing in all kinds of motorsport around the world. Last year, I think, was the first year you ran as an Audi Sport team. You've been an Audi Sport Customer Racing team for quite some time. The Nürburgring, you've got great history here as well. Do you agree with what Ernst was saying about this race being so special?
Yeah, the race for sure is special. The track is special. You can never expect what the weather will do. So now we are in September. The weather forecast will be even worse than in June. But yeah, we will see. And we have a long night. We miss the fans out there, so it will be a silent night for sure for the drivers. So this is something what they for sure will miss on track. And the light will be a bit, or the track will be dark in the night, so there are more things what we have now to learn. Yeah.
Now you and your team have got a slightly more difficult challenge this year, because both of your cars, both the number 3 car, which is the Audi Sport Enter car, and then the customer racing car from yourselves, both now only have 3 drivers. First question: how is Robin? Because he wasn't feeling very well.
Oh no, he has some grippal infect, so it's not COVID, to be lucky, so the test was negative.
But he's not feeling very well.
He's not feeling very well and not in the mood to do a hard race like that, so unfortunately, we have to replace him from the car. So Mirko, Christopher and Markus has to do the race alone, without Robin, yeah.
And in the other car, Miro Konopka is not going to be able to take part. So that leaves Mike Patrick and Milan as well to look after themselves. So you've had to do some logistical changes and start replanning how the drivers will work?
Yeah, we have to. So first of all, in the qualifying 3 session, we have to, the engineers have to do a new run plan during the session. Then we decided as well for car number 7 to not take part in the top Q1. It was already qualified, but we take the decision to not to participate in the top Q1 because we have to start from the grid, from the pit lane after the starting grid 1, and so it makes no sense to do the top qualifying. And especially if the rain will come during the race, we better can save the car or to not go any risk with the car.
And do you already then start to plan, because you've also, so first of all, you're going to start behind, and then at your first pit stop, you have, I think, 3 minutes extra, 180 seconds to stop. I'm doing that from the top of my head. I should have pulled that up beforehand, but I think that's right. Do you have to plan that into your strategy? And is there a way then that you can build that into your strategy and try and say, okay, we will try and mitigate this and make it less of a problem for us?
Yeah, for sure. You have to think about how you can handle in your strategy to maybe recover a little bit more. But to be honest, 3 minutes is a huge penalty. And yeah, if the race will be dry, you have to push even harder. But when the race, what it seems or what it looks like, will be 12 hours of rain, yeah, you better can save 1 or 2 seconds or maybe more per lap to go through the night, like Ernst said, and be safe and come back on the morning, and then you can see where you are, and then you can try to push more.
Well, we're certainly going to be watching to see what happens. Clearly, we're going to be watching the 7 car coming up through the field as well. Good luck.
Thank
be
you.
well, race well as well, and be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Dennis Ferleman from Car Collection Motorsport. And if you didn't hear the news earlier on, both Miro Konopka in the 7 car and Robin Freins unable to take part. Robin not feeling very well, but as you heard there, it's not corona, but he's certainly not up to the exertions of a 24-hour race on the Nordschleife. Miro, I'm afraid, fell foul of the race officials for a yellow flag infringement, and therefore he's not able to take part here as well. So both those cars racing with just 3 drivers. That's a real challenge for them, and one will follow across the weekend. Christian Land from Land Motorsport. Tried to bring you in there early. Almost a jump start for you there, Christian. How are you? Good to see you again.
Hi, how are you? Thank you.
Tell me about this year for you. Everybody's had problems. You know, it's not over. We've got back to racing, thank goodness. But clearly everybody has had to make some changes. And how's it affected you, and how have you used it moving forward?
Yeah, as you said, this year is all very special for racing teams. It's not an easy year for all of us, but yeah, I think we come through. It looks all not so bad. Our season starts very late, as everywhere. We are doing the GT Master Series. We had now 3 races behind us. Last week we had a race. Next week we had also a race on Sachsenring. Now the big 24 in between the 2 races. Yeah, it's a tight schedule for all of us, but we know that at the beginning of the year, when the situation comes out, that it can be very tight at the end of the season. But yeah, we are good prepared for everything.
You know how to win here. Won in 2017, of course, but this race never stands still. People think, it's just the Nürburgring, it's the same every year, it's a big challenge, but it never stands still, it seems to me. We had, a record run in 2014 at 159 laps, and it's been there or thereabouts. A lap either way from that. We could have had a new lap record even last year without a bit more of the slow zones. So do you have to adapt every time you come here? Is there something new that you've got to get your heads around?
There is every year something special on a 24-hour race. I mean, 24 hours at the Nürburgring is a special race. Yeah, then comes some new regulations, comes through it every year. With the code 60s, and yeah, we don't have the slow zones, but we have code 60s and all the yellow zones. It's not easy to manage the race, especially during the night with so many also slow cars. The important thing is to come through the night without any issues, and yeah, can come back to the lead maybe in the morning. But the night here at Nürburgring, especially now at this time in September, with all the cold temperatures during the night. Yeah, it will be a tough night for all of us.
What have you been saying to your partners for your tyre engineers, and what have they been telling you? I know you've got blankets here, but that's not going to be enough to keep the tyre. By the time you've gone round the Formula One track and get onto the hats and back, you're going to have lost most of that temperature, certainly on the first lap out.
Yeah, I was, after the Q3 before, I was sit together with our engineers and also with the tire guys. For sure, we have our tires in heaters, but as you said, when you put the tires on the car in the pits and go out, then immediately on the Grand Prix circuit, you have 20-25 degrees less temperature.
Really?
And yeah, I think what we need for the night here, we need a heated racetrack. That will be great for us.
You may have just come up with an idea there. You need to patent that and make it the best you can. Tell me about the guys in the 29 car this year. You've got René Rast. We know all about him. There's 4 wins in that car. Kelvin van der Linde, who was the first South African to win here as well. How do you gel all that together? Because clearly they're all successful racing drivers, but they've got to work as a team here.
Yeah, I will start with our guys like Mattia Trudi. He's a new guy on the Nordschleife from the Audi drivers. That would be his first 24-hour race on Nürburgring this year. We had him on the car at NLS 2, 3, and 5, and he's a very quick guy. He's a young gun, but he's a very, very quick guy. Then as second driver, Kelvin, he won the race with us in 2017, did a great job. Since then, Kelvin is every 24-hour race on Nürburgring a part of our team. Then, yeah, especially Christopher Mies. He's with us since we started with Audi in 2016. I think we never did a race without Christopher when we go on track with an Audi. Yeah, I think he's a bit, he's a part of a team. He's not only a driver, he is, I would say nearly a land, but he knows everything about us. He's close to our family. And René is now the second year with us in the 24-hour race. We know René quite well. René is a quite good DTM driver, as everybody knows. He was out in the morning for some laps in the rain, but especially for him, it's not so easy to adapt it from a DTM car, especially in that conditions on the Nordschleife. But I think I know we have a good package together to fight for the win over here.
That's a good point you make about René, because he has basically got to jump in and just drive, and that's never easy. He is a versatile driver, though. He has experience. He's drawing on his previous experience as well. Have you been impressed with how he's got down to business?
Yeah, sure. But René is a pro driver. René did some other races in GT3 cars. Yeah, for sure. As I said before, it's not easy to adapt it from a DTM car to a GT3 car. It's two different specs of cars, with aero, with tires, with everything. Then especially the Nordschleife, and especially the Nordschleife as it was in the morning, with these low temperatures and a lot of rain. But he managed quite well. But we have 24 hours time.
You said you came to Audi in 2016, so relatively newcomers to the Audi Sport and the Audi Sport Customer Racing family. How have you found the experience? Because GT3 racing, let's be honest, there are plenty of cars out there that you could choose, and it's a BOP formula, so there shouldn't be too much between them. So why did you choose Audi in the first place, and why have you stayed with them?
Yeah, it was a very quick decision from our side to go with Audi, but we come out of another motorsport scene from some print markets racing, and yeah, we had a customer that wants to do 24 hours in Dubai at 2016, and we sit together in October 15 to, okay, we can do that, but we can do it not with the car what we have now. And then we had to close contact to Dirk Spohr from Audi Customer Racing. We was in contact with him and said, hey, is it possible that we can get a car for the 24 hours in Dubai in 2016? He said, at the moment, I must say yes, but I don't know how I can handle it. And then we got our first R8, I think it was 26th or 27th December, sent them over immediately to Dubai. Our mechanics saw the car first time in Dubai. We started our first 24-hour race, I think it was P2.
Yeah. That was the 9th of January that year, I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. We was there for a test day before that, but nobody from us had experience with the car. We managed the race quite well, and then it was only a plan for a race, and then we decide, okay, now we have a car, what we can do? Then we make a program with our big main sponsor, Monteblast, and decide to put 2 cars in the GT Masters season. Mm-hmm. That was actually a quite good year in 2016, but we win the GT Masters Team Championship, Overall Championship, and Junior Championship. It was a very special year for us, especially first time with the GT3 car and GT Masters. Yeah, and then it comes up more and more. In 2017, we go again in the GT Masters. We had the big win here at the 24 Hours Nürburgring. First time for Land Motorsport, first time with Audi together. It was a special race for us, and it was a special win. Actually, when I talk about it now, it starts to be goosebumps all around my body.
It should do.
Yeah.
It should do, exactly.
Yeah, and since then, we're working very close together. We did some IGTC entries for Audi Sport. We had a win in Laguna Seca 2 years ago. We are working close together with Audi Sport and Audi Sport Customer Racing. We are happy about it. But in the last few years, that was the most successful years of Land Motorsport. That was together with Audi, and I hope it will be long enough in that constellation.
In football, in soccer terms, you say don't change a winning team. That's right. What we have here with Christian, with Land, and with Audi. Christian, thanks for being with us. I know how busy you are. Thanks for taking time out. I'll say, as I've said to everybody, good luck. Be safe and race well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed to all of our team principals who've joined us. By the way, since Chris Reinke has left, we've got back onto green flag racing, or qualifying, should I say, at Zandvoort for the World Challenge. And we have Audi's first and second, Santalok Racing and Belgium Audi Club Team WRT, with Christopher Haase and Rolf Nation are at the top of the standings there, with another 3 Audis in the top 10 from Attemptor, another WRT, in fact 2 Attemptors, another Belgian Auto Club Team WRT. So a busy weekend for Audi customers and for Audi Sport. You can stay up to date with what's going on AudiOnTrack.com. Also have a little explore some of our features and some of our pre-recorded content on there. And join me back here at 5 o'clock Central European Summertime before we go into the top qualifying. It's a little bit of a different format from what we've seen in previous years, but we still do get single lap qualifying here at the Nürburgring. And I'm not seeing too much, but there's a little less rain. In fact, there's no rain outside at the moment, and there's a possibility of a bit of sunshine later on. So single lap qualifying to come in top qualifying. That's all going to be covered after Frank Behler and I discuss the prospects for all of that, and that's 5 o'clock Central European Summertime. That's 4 o'clock if you're in the UK. Join us then for more from the Audi Sport Studio here on AudiOnTrack.com.